Fuck yeah! That was Pyre from Eleanor Goldfield. You should totally check out that album. It's called No Solo. Welcome to Common Censored. This is a show where we talk censored stories and people, sensible solutions, and common ground movements to fight and build.
And then sometimes Lee does PR for me.
That is not the opening slogan.
You know what? I am getting tired of doing the same thing. You know what? These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Little Seinfeld reference for those of you out there.
If you haven't seen Seinfeld, you definitely think that I just lost my damn mind.
It's always good to throw in a deep dive, deep cut Seinfeld reference right up top.
Basically, what I'm saying is that I had a different read. Okay.
I'm Lee Camp, joined by the always
surprising, unique.
I want to say rascal, like a rascal, but you can't, rascally isn't really a...
Rascalious?
The Rascallion, yeah. Rapscallion. Eleanor Goldfield.
Hello.
That was a terrible intro. Welcome,
I think it was great.
Everybody. Yeah, we've been working hard this week, putting out loads of shit. I mean, it's not shit, but it's shit. You know, I mean, it's my shit, but it's not shit. It's not shit. It's good shit. It's good shit.
Have you ever tried to explain American idioms or idiomatic language to someone who's not American? It's rough.
It's weird.
That's all I'm saying.
Tried to explain to them. No. If you say it's good shit, that means it's good. If you say it's shit, that means it's bad. If you say, oh shit, that's bad. If you say, oh shit, that's good.
Or how about, somebody asked me, they're like, how can you be down for something and up for it at the same time? Why does that fucking mean the same thing? And I'm like, look, dude, I don't fucking know. It's a dumb language. I'm sorry.
I'm down for that.
I'm sorry.
I'm up for that. Also, I could care less and I couldn't care less. They both mean I couldn't care less.
I don't give a shit. I could give a shit. Okay. All right.
And moot.
Yeah. This is a little known fact, folks.
Means both arguable and inarguable, if you look it up. Those are the two definitions. It seems to have mainly switched to inarguable in our common language.
Thank you, English.
Thank you, English, for nailing it. All right, let's get into it. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We love you guys. We have a live stream coming up this Sunday. We hope you'll join.
Back.
Yeah, we are back. We hope you'll join us for that, 8 p.m. Eastern. But enough with the ads. Let's get into this. We got a bunch of stories, so we're going to try and get to them a little faster than normal. But the infrastructure plan looks like it's going through. Looks like it's going to happen. Biden announced it. Oh, my God. They got the votes. They got those fucking scallywag GOP votes. And so now it's like, is the infrastructure bill really a wonderful thing?
Was that rhetorical or not?
There are some positives in it, such as the billions of dollars to deal with lead pipes, the billions of dollars to deal with bridges that are collapsing. So it's not like I'm opposed to all of it. I also, there's some people that want jobs, that need jobs. So I'm down with that.
Also doesn't cover all of those things, though.
What'd you say?
It doesn't cover all of those things. So it doesn't address all of the bridges.
Right. I thought you were telling me everything you just said is incorrect. Yes.
Fake news! Fake news!
It does not address every bridge or every lead pipe. But there's a lot of other, like, if you really want to dig deeper into what our system is, which your mainstream media will not. So they'll even say progressives have some qualms about this and stuff, but they still won't get to a deeper level, the real level, the core of this, the heart of this, which is that this is all meant to keep our quote-unquote production in America going at pace so that we can keep driving everywhere, can keep doing things, can keep having as many jobs, can keep using up as many resources. And it's not like I want these things to collapse so that we slow down. Hey, if all the bridges fucking buckle, then nobody will be able to do anything. Awesome. I'm not like that. But could we have a discussion about whether our, fucking endless, never pausing, quote-unquote production GDP is really the best way to model things, considering it's destroying life, it's destroying the planet, it's destroying our environment? Like, all of these things are to build an infrastructure that is killing the world.
Right. It's based on this endless cycle of extraction and destruction for profit, which is basically the plunder of finite resources for an infinite concept that is money. And the reason that I brought up that it doesn't address all of them, and some people might be like, okay, perfect, the enemy of good. But I bring that up because I think it's important to highlight something that the Democrats really excel at, which is doing the bare minimum and wrapping it in this facade of, holy shit, this is the best thing since sliced bread, which, first of all, sliced bread is not really that great, y'all. Let's be honest. But secondly, what the Democrats are proposing here in this infrastructure bill is bad from the perspective that Lee just brought up, that, in order to have a realistic conversation about a livable future, any infrastructure bill has to be not just include discussion of sustainability and resource extraction and how that has to shift and indeed diminish, but it has to be about that entirely. Like, that has to be the foundation on which any infrastructure bill rests if we're being fucking serious with ourselves. But we're not.
To add another metaphor, the lens it should all be filtered through.
Thank you. Yes. The foundation, the lens, whatever metaphor you really prefer. Choose your own adventure here. But the other issue is that it's what's the word? It's disingenuous to suggest that, what are we talking about? Like $1 billion something over like 10 years is what we're looking at with this infrastructure bill.
Trillion, man.
Sorry, $1 trillion. Which is hard to wrap your head around.
1.2 trillion over 8 years.
Right. Which is hard to wrap your head around until you realize that the Pentagon lost or misplaced $21 trillion. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, $1 trillion over 8 years to fix shit that is literally falling apart that we need. And they
recently printed 4.5 trillion in order to deal with the pandemic, but a lot of that 4.5 trillion was the actual number that was just pumped into Wall Street.
Right.
So they pumped that into Wall Street, and you have a great fact about where a lot of that money went.
Right. And I think sometimes it's hard to just look at these numbers and understand something that can be compared to. Well, here's a comparison for you. And this is
if it were $1 trillion, if it were a stack of $1,000 bills, I believe I have this right, would be 63 miles high. Sorry, did I say a stack of $1,000 bills? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand.
63 miles.
So this little tidbit I got from Breakthrough News, which is a great podcast and show. I definitely suggest people check it out if they haven't already. But quoting Eugene Puryear here, you could fix all the bridges, dams, levees, and public housing in the U.S., plus bring broadband to every area of the country for less than what major corporations spent buying back their own stock at a profit to investors in the first 4 months of this year. So basically, stock buybacks are a way for corporations to buy back basically their own profit at an extra profit to their
and pocket it, yeah,
to their corporate boardroom. So again, trickle down is always bullshit, and this is another really very prime example of how it's extra bullshit because corporations use the money that's funneled into them not to give to workers, but to do things
give them hazard pay in the middle of a pandemic,
right? But to do shit like stock buybacks that are basically just shoving more money into the pockets of the corporate boardroom members, and for less than what major corporations in this country spent on stock buybacks in just the first 4 months of 2021, you could fix, again, all the bridges, all the dams, all the levees, and the fucking public housing, and bring broadband to every fucking corner of the country and have money left over. So there's a little comparative analysis for you of what we're actually looking at in terms of a legitimate infrastructure bill, and bill both legislatively and economically. What would that final bill be? But you could find the question is always, well, where are we going to find the money? You could find the money just in the fucking corporations that you refuse to tax. I mean, Biden's proposed tax rate is lower than Obama's. It's lower than fucking Reagan's. So, and of course, Bush as well.
And that proposed tax rate for corporations is kind of a perfect example of the dynamic between these two parties that are really one party. Trump pushed it from 32% or something to 21%. And then Biden comes in and pushes it back up to 28%, the lowest it's been in generations. And he's considered a hero for bringing forth the progressive, progressive version of a corporate tax. Mm-hmm. But in fact, that is the most right-wing tax on corporations we've seen in generations.
Yeah. So I think, like, with the infrastructure bill, it's not like I was telling this to Lee the other day when we were having a conversation. Anytime you think the Democrats are doing something good, just look a little deeper and you'll find that it's mostly bullshit. So it's not that...
You'll find that it's like 90% bullshit, and then like 5% someone will get helped, and then there's usually some like used chewing gum put in there.
So it's not that the U.S. doesn't need an infrastructure bill. It's just that this ain't it. That we can do so much better so fucking easily. Without it, like, we could do better without most billionaires even noticing. Because they're so fucking rich that it wouldn't even, like, they wouldn't even fucking notice. And yet they are the group of untouchables. And in the meantime, there are, huge swaths of infrastructure that are just completely overlooked by this infrastructure bill, not least of all, of course, the issue of climate change and a livable future, just for the sake of making sure that billionaires have an extra yacht to park in their yacht.
Yeah, and you just mentioned climate change. We said all of this, every bit of this infrastructure bill should be filtered through the lens of, is it sustainable and working towards, not just working towards, but really, will it be sustainable in the fucking next 5 years? Which, are endless amounts of concrete. Concrete is one of the most damaging substances on the planet, and also contributing to climate change. Producing concrete, and then on top of that, of course, you're eliminating green space with concrete. So it's like, for all of us to just run around being like, this infrastructure bill is so amazing, Biden got it done, we're going to have functional bridges again, doobie-doo-goo. Like, and then there's other things in there, like more money for elder care and stuff. So it's like, it's bullshit, and we're lying to ourselves if we run around doing that. And so it's not that there aren't positives. Like, it's not like, okay, this community or that community stops having lead in their fucking water. Like, yes, of course. But here's the thing. You don't need us to give you a story about how not having lead in your water is a good thing. Like, that is not why we're here. You can flip on CNN any minute and find out, oh, there's this much money to get lead out of the water. Hey, and they'll all do their little quinceañera dance. But what you turn to us for is the shit you're not getting on those stations, which is all of this, which is how this is actually, like, so, I don't know, like just short-sighted in that all of this should be devoted to dealing with climate change. How are we readapting our entire society to deal with climate change? Not, and I heard this, and we should do a segment on it some other time, but someone just pointed this out, and I hadn't really thought deeply about it. This net zero thing is the term that keeps getting thrown around, right? Oh, we're getting to net zero. Biden has a plan to be at like net zero for, cars or for other things by 2050. And not only is it too far in the future, 2050, like, we fucking don't have that kind of time. But besides that, the idea of net zero is really a fossil fuel business, like
it's greenwashing,
a big oil talking point.
Yeah.
And the reason, and I talked to some people who know this shit better than I do about it, that it's bullshit is because we don't need net zero emissions. We need net zero fossil fuels. It should be zero fossil fuels, zero emissions. You can't fucking pump out insane amounts of carbon into the atmosphere and plant a bunch of trees and call it net zero. It's just not, the environment just doesn't function that way. So this whole idea of net zero is a way of greenwashing. It's not that net zero is not better than we're at right now. Of course it is. But it's not the discussion we should be having. The discussion we should be having is fucking stop all fossil fuels immediately.
Right. Net zero is a conversation we might have been able to have like in the early 80s.
Yeah.
But not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other thing here to ask is, okay, well, if the Democrats and if politicians in general are unwilling to raise the corporate tax rate, where is the money from this infrastructure bill coming from? And the answer is that, and this is another thing that was covered by Breakthrough News, it's something called user fees. So these are things like tolls. So you and I, we are going to have to pay the difference to make up, the money for this infrastructure bill. And I'm not one of those people that's like, I don't want to fucking pay for, public work projects. I do. I think that that's what I should be paying taxes for is, so kids can eat and that we have,
Right.
like green spaces in our public area, like whatever the fuck. Those are the things that I want to have my taxes go to. But the thing is that I am not, like, our taxes are not going to that. Our taxes are basically going to war, and then we're being asked to subsidize corporations so that they can be left out of any sort of responsibility to pay for shit like infrastructure. So we're doubly paying for this shit. We're not just paying for it once over. We're paying for it, and then we're paying to subsidize the corporations so they can avoid taxes.
Right. And what you're also hinting at is that really what we should do with all these things, the pipes, the bridges and everything, is that we should just have government-run construction companies that the money that Congress allots goes straight to them, and there is zero profit. Profit is not their goal. There is no, they don't even discuss profit. All they discuss is, can we pay our employees and can we get the job done? Because what we're paying for in this infrastructure bill is tons of profit for these construction corporations. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't need to be that way. There's no reason you need for-profit corporations rebuilding these things. You could have excellent, top-of-the-line workers paid ridiculously well, government employees, building these things. So anyway, we've been on this topic
too long,
plenty long, and we'll now move it into the next one.
Yes. So this is.
Oh, by the way, I did get the number correct, and to give it to you, although the only version I can find is in hundreds, but $100 bills stacked. In order to amount to $1 trillion would be 630 miles high.
Okay. That's like halfway
So
to the moon.
I said $1,000 bills and 63 miles high, but same idea.
How did you? Okay. Yes, that's fucking grotesque, and I don't understand.
We should rebuild all the bridges out of $1,000 bills.
Is what I'm saying. Hear me out on this, guys. So, news alert for anybody who was waiting to report me for being a radical. Now
it sucks because it's in your Twitter handle, which has really outed you.
Now is your time. Although, hint, I'm already on a list somewhere, so I don't waste too much time. But Biden has asked people to report, quote, potentially radicalized friends and family under the guise of responding to the events of January 6th.
I have one here. I have one. Hey, folks. Hey, Biden. I got one here.
I got a live one. So, and you can actually see this document. I have the documents. This is under the categories of domestic violent extremists. So this now includes, quote, anarchist violent extremists that, quote, oppose all forms of capitalism, corporate globalization, and governing institutions, which are perceived as harmful to society. And we are now considered, quote, domestic violent extremists, end quote. Now, also on this list.
Are they saying all anarchists are violent?
Yes.
Okay.
They also include on this list animal rights and environmental violent extremists who seek
Well,
to...
if you're going to let the cows tell you what to do,
Wait. This
fucking
is
bad.
great. Who seek to end or mitigate perceived cruelty. Perceived cruelty.
There is no cruelty in our factory farms where chickens live their whole lives in a pen
Right.
so small they can't turn around, and they peck each other's faces off because they can't do anything else. And pigs live in cages so small they can't turn around their entire lives. And then in Iowa, the latest advent was rather than killing them all by hand, which takes a long time for thousands upon thousands of hogs, we just pump in superheated air overnight and actually bake them alive over the span of the evening. That's not what cruelty.
It's just perceived cruelty, okay,
Peel-
Lee? It all
perceived
depends on your perspective, okay? And your perspective is a radical one. So, yeah. Basically, this is part of an anti-terrorism initiative that, again, and I think a lot of us, right after January 6th happened, a lot of us were like, well, here we go. Because, again, the idea that this would be used just against the far right shows a total lack of understanding of the history of the United States. The U.S. has never had a problem with far right-wing extremists. It's built by far right-wing extremists, okay?
Right.
So
Right.
the idea that somehow now the U.S. would be like, oh my God, we really have to do something about far right-wing violence in this country. Ha, ha, ha. This shit was always meant to go after people on the left that are against the state based on the fact of what the state is, as opposed to, some people on January 6th were like, we have to storm the Capitol because it's not American enough. Like, the U.S. isn't afraid of those people. The U.S. is those people. Meaning the foundation of the United States is built on that kind of paradigm. So they don't give a flying fuck about these far right-wing groups. And I know some people are going to, say, well, the FBI has gone after the KKK. Two things. First of all, no, not really. Because if you've seen the kind of horrific surveillance and harassment, and, outright, fascist, dealings that the FBI has had with leftist groups, I think you would look at how the FBI has dealt with groups like the KKK, like some kind of fucking garden party, which it is. And second of all, the KKK still works very openly and loudly without any sort of threat of being shut down. And if you've ever been to a far right-wing protest in the U.S., then you will have seen how the cops respond to right-wing extremist violence. I've literally seen the cops stand by and watch as people ran into with like baseball bats and weapons, like knives and shit, ran into a line of leftist people that were protesting a Confederate statue. So the idea that this country has ever had a problem with far right-wing violence is just fucking ahistorical and disingenuous. And so this anti-terrorist bill or initiative was always going to be used as a bludgeon against the left. That was always what it was meant to be. And I think that we see this happening now, and it is...
And yet most of our mainstream media that is quote-unquote liberal, with the exception of Fox News, they're supporting this in every way. It's like,
Of course.
we need to stop what happened January 6th, so let's stop those radicals. And they allow the left that is outside of corporate quote-unquote left, which is not really left, they allow them to be, imprisoned, attacked, whatever, surveilled.
Right. And, there are several examples of the disparities between right-wing violence and left-wing protests that are basically always nonviolent. And one example is Public Citizen just released this tweet yesterday, and it's a picture of a headline that says, "First rioter tried for U.S. Capitol attack gets probation instead of prison time." Anna Morgan Lloyd was sentenced to 3 years probation. And the other headline that Public Citizen shared was the story of a black man After 20 years in prison for stealing 2 shirts, a Louisiana man is free.
So slight difference in punishment amount.
Yeah. And there's one more thing that I just wanted to touch on, which is something that was brought to our attention after last week's episode about the terrorist who drove his car into a car trying to get to a crowd of Black Lives Matter protesters and ended up killing the woman who had parked her car to protect those protesters. And basically, this story is about an activist in Los Angeles, Tatiana Turner, who's being held on $1 million, $1 million bail, facing life in prison. Because when she organized, she's an organizer in Los Angeles, and what happened, as I understand it, is she organized one of those car caravan events, and basically what those were happening during the pandemic as a way for people to organize protests and actions without people getting into close contact with one another. So this was a car caravan for Black Lives.
Shouldn't they be called a caravan?
Yes. Thank you. A caravan.
Thank God I'm here.
Yes, I know. So basically what happened was that Tatiana, or Tia as she's known, was
driving a car.
Well, she was parked, actually, and these Trumpers, these far right-wing extremists, and she's a woman of color, I think it's important to note that, came up to her car and started assaulting the car, rocking it, and the way that zombies do in films. And I think it's actually a pretty apt comparison because, I mean, would you notice the difference? And so rocking it back and forth, and actually broke the glass in her car. And so she freaked out and started driving. She didn't floor it. She just started driving. And in it basically what happened is that I believe she injured 1 or 2 people. Nothing serious, but she started rolled over a foot or something.
If you picture yourself in that same circumstance, you're in your car, all the doors are sealed, but there is a group of violent extremists surrounding your car, basically because you're a black woman, and kind of attacking the car, you would probably do the same thing. Slowly start rolling to try and get them to back away.
And to get the fuck out of there because you're terrified.
And so she slowly started moving forward and ran over 1 foot, which is I think that's the best she could have done.
Well, and here's the thing.
She should have hit him a few more feet.
Regardless of how you feel about this, and regardless of whether you think that you would do this in the same situation, which I think most of us honestly would, because if you feared for your life, then you probably would do whatever you could to get out of that situation. In this case, that would be to slowly start driving the fuck away from these monsters. The fact of the matter is that, and this is pointed out on the website that's supporting her, called freetia2020.com, that hundreds of other of these cases have happened and laws have been passed. And actually, in these laws, for instance, in Florida and Oklahoma, it's set that allow people to drive purposefully into protesters, not trying to get away to save themselves, but just because they're fucking irritated. It says, quote, "This is an important protection for citizens who are just trying to get out of a bad situation," said Representative Kevin West. When fleeing an unlawful riot, which he's not talking about Tia here, he's talking about peaceful protesters that are blocking a street. When fleeing an unlawful riot, they should not face threat of prosecution for trying to protect themselves, their families, or their property.
Which is hilarious, because it's there's a group of people in front of me. The only way to get by is to gun it. It makes no sense.
Right. And this is people who purposefully drive into protesters to cause bodily harm. This is not somebody who is being attacked by protesters and sees no way out of this but to try and leave in her vehicle because she's afraid for herself.
I don't know if we've yet said that how what her bail is and everything. It's
I
crazy.
said it was $1 million.
Oh, you did say it. Okay. Yeah.
$1 million. She's been in prison since last September. She faces life in prison because she was trying to get away to save herself, save her own life.
Crazy.
And the police themselves called the protesters that were, assaulting her. They called that an unlawful assembly. But still, it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, let's hope she gets a jury that fucking laughs at these charges. Anyway.
Well, anyway, I just wanted to share that because once again, that shows the disparity between how people on the left are treated and people on the far right. And I think that it's important to, and there are billions of other fucking examples. I'd be here for the rest of my life if I'd give them all to you. But the bottom line is that this country was founded on far right extremism. There's no way in blue fuck that for somehow this country, particularly under someone like Biden and, cop Kamala Harris, is going to give a flying fuck about the right-wing extremist terrorists that are actually threatening the lives of people and communities. They are going to direct their ire and direct the full force of the state against what they perceive to be the real threat against the state, which is people who are anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist. And so I'm not saying this to scare people. Again, I think sometimes I can come across like, oh my God, lock up your children. But that's not what I'm saying.
I mean, you should lock them up because children are annoying, but...
No, I think they should be free range. I'm just saying. But, I mean, not necessarily in my general area, but other places.
Not free range in this apartment, but yeah.
But I think it's important, again, to know what's going on and to understand the full fascist breadth of this country and not be confused by any kind of anti-terrorist legislation.
And one more note, there has been a leaked document that just come out. I'm going to mention it on Redacted tonight as well, but Redacted Night, that won't air for another week, though, that a U.S. military document has come out that puts socialists in the same category as neo-Nazis. And, yeah, it leaked out, and this was a training document. So this is what they're teaching, recruits, soldiers to learn in order to be good soldiers, in order to represent this country accurately and attack the right kinds of people. The new guide includes the following question: anarchists, socialists, and neo-Nazis represent which terrorist ideological category?
Oh my God.
The correct answer is political terrorists. So they're acting like by being a socialist, meaning you think that people should live together and share and have peace, you are therefore a terrorist. So good to know.
Yeah. But you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me when you were in kindergarten and you had to play that game, which one of these does not belong. That's what that reminded me of.
Well, and actually, yeah, several of them don't belong because anarchist also does not belong in that group.
No, I know. The one that doesn't belong is the neo-Nazi.
Right.
Anarchists and socialists can get, we can get together well enough. It's fine.
There's a lot of agreement there.
There might be some little tiffs, but no one's going to shoot someone because they're black. So
it's going to be a lot of sharing going on, but the moment someone tells someone to share, then the anarchist is going to be like, you're not the boss of me.
Okay, you know what?
I'm just kidding around.
It's not true. I don't like you shitting on my peoples.
See? I rest my case.
But look, I don't hate you because you're a Jew. That's...
Hey.
So, speaking of a totally warped fucking judicial system and not having any rights, let's move on to our next story. Am I being a downer? I feel like maybe...
Do we have any... We usually have some awesome activists protesting something, but this week it does not seem to be going that way.
No, but maybe, I'm thinking about the Mel Brooks in Robin Hood Men in Tights, where he says, well, maybe if you said the bad news in a good way, it won't sound so bad.
I just found the one positive story. It has to do with the ecocide definition.
Well, that's a kind of a meh story.
Is it? Why?
Well, yeah, because can we not get?
We're getting ahead.
Huh.
I'm gonna take.
Look, I'm on train tracks over here, and you're fucking pushing me off, and now the train is all kinds of. I feel very disoriented.
Are you saying I haven't been trained correctly?
Betrayed, bewildered.
Okay, no more quoting from movies and TV shows from the 90s. Well, I'll take this moment to give you a moment to ponder your next train tracks. And just let people know that we have a live stream coming up this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. Pacific. Please join us. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since we had our last live stream, so we've missed you guys, and we'd love for you to join us. All you have to do is go to youtube.com/momentofclarity, and we will be live streaming there at 8 p.m. Eastern Sunday. Also, if you feel like you've gotten $1 or more worth of content from this episode, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I'm getting something out of this, please become a member at liberapay.com/Lee Camp. LIBERAPAY.com/Lee Camp. For those of you who joined recently, you're fucking heroes. You're incredible. You're awesome. And, sorry we had to make the switch from Patreon for this show, but liberapay.com/Lee Camp. Also, the new album, the EP, No Solo, is out. It's at artkillingapathy.com. If you liked the opening theme song of this show, then you would love the EP because it's on there. It's called No Solo, artkillingapathy.com. And, we'll keep going, and I'll say a few more things at the end.
Well, I hope you'll say some more things before then. So... This story is kind of DC specific, but it also speaks to the question of where your rights are applicable. Mm-hmm. Even something as flimsy as the Constitution, which doesn't really cover human rights, and was written 200 plus years ago by a bunch of white slave-owning assholes.
It gives us the right to buffalo arms. No, wait. Which animal is it? Bear arms.
Okay, so folks might remember last summer there were, uprisings in several different cities. Some of that happened here in D.C. And the response from police, oh, wow. So one day in particular that folks might recall is June 1st. Not that I'm expecting you to remember that date, but thousands of people gathered in Lafayette Square, which that's the square that's just north of the White House.
Is this the Bible moment where Trump...
Hold on, I'm getting to it.
Well, I'm reminding people of the moment.
Spoiler alert.
Okay, sorry.
Jeez. God. Can I tell my story here?
Yeah.
God. Okay, so these were the protests that were following George Floyd's murder. So as people gathered... And I shouldn't even have to say peacefully because the response was out of control even if they were fucking lighting cop cars on fire, but they weren't. Federal and local law enforcement fired tear gas, pepper spray capsules, rubber bullets, and flash bombs into the crowd in order to disperse people from the area. Why, you ask? Well, so that Donald Trump could stand in front of a church that's right by the White House holding a Bible as if he'd never held a book before.
It was upside down.
For a photo op that just made no fucking sense. It was just the most bizarre moment.
And the church was closed.
The church was boarded up.
The church was boarded up for the pandemic. So there was nothing going on there. And he didn't understand the book he was holding. And he was holding it upside down. And he didn't have permission from the church, nor any inclusion from anyone in the church.
No, because the church is pretty well known to be they always have something outside that says Black Lives Matter. And
I mean, it'd be like you fucking firing napalm at people to clear the way so you can get to a Cheesecake Factory, stand out front, the Cheesecake Factory's closed, and you're diabetic. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, it's fucking insane. And so several people were injured, some severely, because if you've ever been hit by rubber bullets and flash bombs and tear gas, you know it's no fucking picnic.
Nicole Rousseau, sorry. One of the producers of another show we love, the Socialist program by Brian Becker, hosted by Brian Becker. She had her hip like fractured and other injuries, was hit by multiple rubber bullets, which are, they don't kill you, but they cause severe harm and severe injury. And this is while she has a press pass hanging around her neck, and she's holding it out to show the cops all of that happened.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I wasn't hit by rubber bullets, but as somebody who also had a press lanyard, I was tear gassed at like point blank range that same summer. J20, same thing. That was the inauguration of Donald Trump. The cops were throwing flash bombs at press and protesters, just like fucking willy-nilly, which is what they do. But anyway, so the ACLU filed suit after this happened. They filed a federal lawsuit, basically saying that this was an outrageous assault on First Amendment rights, the freedom to gather, free speech, free press, blah, 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 blah. The things that, were supposedly a thing. So basically on Monday, and I'm reading this verbatim, on Monday, a federal judge dismissed the claims in the lawsuit, ruling that federal officials cannot be sued for monetary compensation for violating constitutional rights whenever they do so against a crowd near the White House.
What?
In other words, you don't have any human rights, constitutional or otherwise, if you're, quote unquote, near the White House, which is also super vague. I don't know where the fuck near the White House ends. Like, where does that line end?
Does this mean Biden or someone in his family, I'll say no names, Hunter, can just like sexually assault anybody around the White House and they're fine?
I would assume that would fly.
Nice.
And this is not necessarily surprising if folks are familiar with the 100-mile rule. Basically, it's a rule that says
I've heard of the 5-second rule. Is that similar?
Close, although less delicious. So, basically, anywhere 100 miles inland from any land or water border in the United States, the Constitution is not valid. I'm not making that up.
That's like crazy. Yeah.
That is fucking true. And 2/3 of all Americans live in that zone. And there's a map. I think the ACLU actually has a map of this. And you just see it. And it's basically like most of the major fucking cities on the seaboard.
What was when this was instituted, what was the argument? What was the point?
Well, the argument was that, we have to go after illegal immigrants. And, if we bother giving them equal rights by the border, then where does the madness end, Lee?
And one of those German U-boats, it might go through the water and then like go up on the land for 100 miles, and you got to be able to arrest them, and not give them rights.
So this isn't necessarily surprising because of things like that granted aren't common knowledge, but they are true. But it's just yet another. It's yet another feather in the cap of fascism to basically say no that yes, don't fucking, it doesn't matter what the Constitution says, those rights are not applicable here. And if you think about it, if there should be applicable anywhere, it should be in Washington D.C. right?
Go ahead.
But no, that was really
well. On top of this, it just came out like a week ago, and I didn't really read up on it, but that there was an internal investigation as to what happened that day when they assaulted all those protesters and people in order to allow Trump to get to that church. And the investigation came up with the analysis that those people were cleared not because Trump was headed to that church.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is like, are you fucking out of your mind? It was the most obvious thing in the world. They literally allowed all those people to be there until the moment he was going to walk through to that church, and then they abused the shit out of everyone, and then he walks through to the church. Like, to act like they're unrelated is fucking crazy.
Yeah, no, it's it's so fucking stupid. I can't remember if that was the same day or if it was a few days earlier or later where they also turned off the lights in the White House, which is like the
Oh, yeah,
first
and he
time
went-
they've ever done that.
And he went to the bunker. Yeah.
And it's so funny too, because if you're standing, because we were standing
We
at
didn't know
the
where it
edge,
was.
at the edge of Lafayette Park, it's like, look, I'm not a fucking like T-Rex. I can still see it. I don't see based
Oh
on
my
movement.
God! And please tell me they were all ducking down below the windows, the ledge of the window, like in like Home Alone or something. They had little mannequins dancing around. Oh,
They had like a little Tonka set that was taken apart.
please tell me Melania had to crawl to the bunker with Trump.
But it's just like the whole fucking, like, it would be so funny if it wasn't so horrific. And I
We're not a T-Rex. We don't need movement to see
right.
things.
Like it's a giant fucking house in the middle of like an empty like field. Like
all the protest, like they thought all the protesters would go like, the lights are out. I guess they left. Oh yeah, they went on vacation, and we all walked off. Everyone walked off.
and you still saw the little, like, I don't know if they have like lights on their helmets or something, but the White House always has snipers on their roof, and they still had like headlamps on or some shit. So even still, had like these floating lights on the it was just fucking dumb. But I wanted to share a couple of quotes from people who are listed in the lawsuit. A couple of plaintiffs who are involved with this lawsuit that was just basically smacked down by a federal judge saying, well, you don't have rights. This one is from Tony Sanders, who is
Bernie's little known brother, Tony.
nope, it's actually
You know Tony Sanders. He's the one who owns the ice cream shop. Tony Sanders. He hadn't done as much as Bernie, but still a good guy.
You done? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Quote, as I look back on that day, I think about how when we went there, it was to teach my stepson a lesson about civil disobedience, but the lesson he walked away with is that our government hates black people.
Well, he should have learned that one too.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like he learned a very good lesson.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's an important one.
and another quote from Keshawn McDonald, who's also an ACLU plaintiff, and I should mention that both of these folks that I'm quoting are black. He says, quote, that interaction I had with police that day last year, along with the numerous things that have happened since June 1st, 2020, has me, as an American black man, not optimistic about police reform or the way we are treated by law enforcement. Yeah, I'd say that's,
agree with that.
that's
yeah.
valid.
Yeah, valid.
But so the ACLU says that they're going to, they're going to continue fighting this. I don't expect personally anything to come out of this, like, judicially. I think, again, just like the previous story, I think the fact of the matter is that we should know that bringing up the Constitution or bringing up any basic human rights in general is not going to be a protection, a shield against the wrath of the state in trying to quell or trying to basically stamp out any sort of protest or uprising for justice or liberation.
Well said. Well said. Let's move to. I wouldn't say we're yet getting to the upbeat topic, but let's move to the Arctic.
Well, this will just take a second.
I don't know if it'll just take a second.
Well, I don't really have much to say except that the ground temperature in the Arctic this past weekend hit 118 degrees Fahrenheit.
So here's what I'd like to say is, and I know some people listening to this will probably find it difficult to hear these kinds of stories, hearing about how our world is melting. And I find it tough too. And every time I, open a news feed, every single day, there is an article about how fucked up climate change is getting. And part of me hates to hear that. Part of me thinks, where has this been all this time? Finally, we're getting to a point that, like, it's tough to read online without hearing something about climate change, which is the way it should be. It's not comfortable, but it's the way it should be. And then, but here's the next step that kind of enrages me is, like, when will it get to the point that it's like we don't all just act like things should be business as usual? So it's like we're reading about it every day, but are people actually changing the way they operate? And I'm not going to say I've changed that much the way I operate, but there's somewhat. I don't own a car and things like that, but it should be that I've been on upsetting shows with talk of climate change for fucking 12 or 15 years. Mm-hmm. Upsetting stand-up shows, upsetting comedy shows, upsetting podcasts, upsetting interviews. I've been shitting in the middle of all these shows with talk of climate change for years. And now we're finally getting to the point that it's common to see this on like mainstream media. But the next step is, when will it actually interrupt the average flow of our average lives? And I don't mean when will the effects impact our average flow, because those
already is.
That already is. You have cities on fire, you have cities flooded, you have cities in drought. So that already is. But when are we going to stop acting like we should just keep going with capitalism and consumerism on pace?
Well, and I think that a big question there is that is when are we going to realize that, just getting a tote bag is not going to fix it? I think the problem is that...
But you donate more than the tote bag is worth. So in that way, it should
And then somebody plants a tree.
It should fix. You donate $25. 3 of that goes to send you the tote bag. So $22 goes to plant like a shrub or something.
And jack off a mouse. So...
Wait, does that help?
I mean, it makes the mouse feel better, I think.
So and the mouse is part of the environment, so you're making the environment feel good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the real issue here that kind of gums up the works, because I think a lot of people have been and can be inspired to, recycle and to, use the fucking like the shampoo and the conditioner bar instead of the ones that come in the plastic, whatever the fuck. I think that especially if you have economic privilege. But I think the other thing, what really gets gummed up is the fact that that's not going to be good enough. Like, if you actually look at a graph of the shit that, will have the greatest impact, if everybody in the United States recycled, that on the graph is like fucking minuscule compared to military emissions, compared to the biggest corporations in the country. And so
compared to not building more buildings that we don't need.
Right. Not building more fucking pipelines. Yeah. So I think like the issue is that I think some people understand on a subconscious level that the fact that I fucking walked to the store to buy, groceries instead of ordering it and getting it, delivered in plastic, that's not going to save the fucking day. I'm not saying don't do it. Great, do that. But But
we need to start talking big.
Right. And we have to start acting big. Mm-hmm. Because I think and this is, again, I talk about this a lot, and I, this is not to say that everybody needs to go to the front lines. Everybody needs to be involved in the front lines somehow, whether you're going there, whether you're supporting them with goods, with monetary support, giving people a place to crash or stay, whatever the fuck. But we need to be involved in the frontline fight, because we are way past the fucking point where buying a Prius is going to save. Well, I guess nowadays it's Tesla. Sorry, I'm very aughts over here, but we're way past the fucking day when just doing that is going to help in a really significant way. And I'm not trying to guilt trip people who make personal choices that are positive. Please keep doing that. But understand that is not good enough. It's just like if you're really serious about being healthy, it's not good enough to just stop eating fries, but also eating ice cream for every fucking meal. You have to really rework the way that you look at nutrition. And the same thing is true for how we look at the climate crisis. You can't just look at your own personal choices. You have to look at the choices on a global capitalist scale, and then figure out ways to address that, to really combat that. Because if we don't, then we'll all be fucking drowning in our tote bags and our Priuses. Sorry, fuck, our Teslas, whatever.
Right. The energy and the anger needs to be funneled into ending capitalism and ending consumerism as well as, yes, you can make those individual choices. I make them. Like, I make them a lot. I don't make all of them because you and I have talked about the hypocrisy scale. Like, you're going to be a hypocrite in one way or another if you live in this society, unless you're living in the woods under a stump. But I make, some personal choices. I don't buy toilet paper. I wipe with my T-shirt, like that kind of thing. But but the true anger and the true change is going to come from going after capitalism and consumerism. Mm-hmm. And until we do that, even if we were to stop climate change, we'd still be killing the environment in other ways, such as, filling the oceans with plastic, etc. So even if climate change weren't an issue, capitalism and consumerism would still be doing this in other ways. And so it has to be a fight towards that. Mm-hmm. And yet everywhere you turn on, even the magazines, the TV shows, everything that gives you these facts about climate change. The Arctic is hit 118 degrees. The glacier breaking apart, that one's breaking apart. These species are dying, that one's dying. Even those outlets are unwilling, almost without exception, to talk about capitalism.
Mm-hmm. Which, again, means that they're not really talking about the issue. I guess you were right. I guess that wasn't just.
I made it a broader issue. We could have just thrown out a fact and moved on. So do we do we go to Biden, or do we go to the palate cleanser with the ecocide?
Let's go to the palate cleanser, which is kind of a palate cleanser, but it has a slight aftertaste of feces.
Like my T-shirt.
Exactly. We're all gonna take a whiff of Lee's T-shirt, okay? So this is a historic moment in the sense that a definition of ecocide has been unveiled by international lawyers for the International Criminal Court. So basically, if adopted, this draft would mean that individuals could be prosecuted in the ICC for causing, quote, widespread or long-term damage to the environment. And this is something that people have been working on for a very long time. I remember interviewing a woman like 5 years ago who said that she'd been working on it for like 15 years. So this is really something that people have been pushing for.
And I've been thinking about it, and I think this is one of the main ways that we could fight for a sustainable planet. It's like, you're not going to end capitalism tomorrow, but without this definition of ecocide, which also is kind of de facto giving a definition of, like, rivers have a right to exist and be clean, and air has a right to exist and be clean and isn't owned by anyone, and the trees, etc. It's like, once you've done that, you make it a lot harder for these corporations that have million-dollar lawyers who can get around just about any regulation. Any regulation where you say you can't cut down this many trees, you have to do this if you do, you can't pollute this much. They have ways around it. And even if they don't, what they'll pay as a fine will be a parking ticket to them. So it's like, without these ecocide definitions under like some sort of international law, I don't know how you stop this kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think so this is incredibly powerful because it would allow people to sue, big corporations for, clear cutting a forest, for instance, or, like oil spills. The language is, just like in a lot of legalese, it's appropriately vague. So the panel of 12 lawyers defined ecocide as, quote, unlawful or wanton acts committed with knowledge that there is a substantial likelihood of severe and either widespread or long-term damage to the environment being caused by those acts.
Oh, Lord.
So the sticking point here is with knowledge.
With knowledge.
So I can already hear the argument in my head. Oh my God, we didn't know that pipeline was going to spill. Right. Even though all pipelines spill. Right. So this is where it gets a little sticky.
We didn't know that other people wanted that million gallons of water. Right. We thought it was just up for grabs.
We didn't know that cutting down all those trees would kill everything that was living in them. Look, I had fucking no idea.
I thought the owls would survive the wood chipper. Right. I thought they'd be fine.
I thought they were hardy little fuckers, but turns out... So this is the aftertaste of feces, everyone. The other thing is that this has to be ratified by the signatory states. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the biggest polluters aren't going to ratify it. Now, I could just be being a negative Nancy here, but I feel like the countries that are most responsible for global emissions are going to read this and be like, no.
But to give the positive spin on this, I think the fact that it's even being talked about is another advancement. This type of thing seems to be advancing in many countries. I know New Zealand passed laws saying that rivers have, basically personhood, for lack of a better term, basically have the right to exist and the right to be clean and the right to be left alone. And that kind of thing is growing. So
yes,
there is some positive here, even if it's like, would anyone ever be prosecuted under this? Will it really get passed? So.
Well, right, and this is kind of a note that I'd like to end it on, but but so the other point is that there are 5 international crimes that the ICC deals with, and those are genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, and the crime of aggression. So ecocide would be the 5th. Sorry, so it's 4. So you might listen to that list and be like, well, the U.S. is already fucking guilty of all of those, which it's a good point. Although the U.S. has...
It's a good point.
The U.S. has never been brought before the ICC. The ICC has really gone after predominantly like African dictators that are put in place by the U.S., but then never go after the person pulling the strings, which is the U.S.
It is kind of funny. Like, it's not that the African people they've gone after have been good people, but it's like, you guys might want to prosecute a white person at some point.
Yeah, it's
anybody noticed that it's only black people?
Yeah. It's looking a lot like the American judicial system gradient scale. So that's another point, is that even if, let's say, the U.S. ratified it, would the U.S. be taken to task for ecocide? And these are just realistic points that I want to bring up before everyone's like, oh my God, the U.S. is going to be tried for ecocide. No. And this really brings, to light the issue that there isn't any sort of criminal court or, governing body that has power to tell the U.S. to go fuck itself. The only power that would have is if countries got together, like if the EU and Russia and China and India got together and were like, you know what, U.S., sit the fuck down and shut up. We've had enough. But the ICC doesn't have the power to do that. And so I think while this is really powerful in changing the conversation, like you said, we shouldn't look to the ICC to actually bring the U.S. to court. But I think that this provides a powerful framework and could also be useful in things like the necessity defense that has been used by environmentalists to say that they had to, do this because of climate change. They had to block this pipeline, or they had to turn this wheel to shut down the pipeline, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that this is an important shift. But also, let's be realistic about who the ICC is and who the U.S. is.
Yeah, but we're there's movement on this fight, and sometimes it can take decades, and then a lot of change happens in like a year. So I wouldn't get too beaten down by all these stories. I think it's actually a positive that all these stories that are gut-wrenching are now in our mainstream media, and literally like every morning I wake up, there's another one. Means people are waking up to this in a large way. So thank you guys for fighting with us. We couldn't do it without you, and I hope you got $1 worth of content out of this episode. If you did, go to liberapay.com/Lee Camp. Become a member there. If times are so tight that you can't do that, then I understand, and we're glad you're here. And
please share.
Please share this. Yes, you can pay your $1 forward by sharing it with a friend or family member, because let's face it, family members are not friends. And and we'll be doing a live stream Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at youtube.com/Moment of Clarity. We hope you'll be there with us. And No Solo, the new album, the new EP is at artkillingapathy.com. Eleanor's movie or documentary is at hardroadofhope.com. My book is at leecampbook.com. And you can email us at commoncensored@protonmail.com if you have any questions or comments. Did I miss anything?
I think you got it.
Keep fighting.
Act out.